Yo, what is up, boys? Party Waffles here, and today I'm gonna make you guys a solo shuffle tips video with 3 tips that helped me get rank 1 in solo shuffle every single season since it's been out, and currently have 5 DKs in rank 1 range. So I'm gonna spill the beans, the secret tech. Let's get right into this. Okay, guys, so the first tip is going to be about your output, okay? This goes for damage, defensive, CC, everything. I want you to take whatever your output is right now, I want you to take it and increase it, okay? I want you to press kick more often. I want you to press your damage cooldowns almost on CD, everything like that. Basically, when you go into the game, I want you to treat it like a mythic plus, okay? You want to get the momentum right away. You want to go in there, connect to the other target, ramp up, get your offensive cooldowns out, and just start get your damage rolling, right? So the quicker you go in there and use your offensive cooldowns, the faster they're going to come back. And when they come back later in the game, the dampening is going to be high, which dampening is the healing reduction, okay? So when later in the game when your cooldowns come back up, it's going to be harder for the healer to heal them and keep them alive through them the second time. So you want to get those out as quick as possible. Same goes for kicks, crowd control, anything like that. You want to basically just take your crowd control, take your kicks, just put it on something high value, basically on cooldown, okay? So you don't have to do it the second it's off cooldown if there's nothing valuable to press it, but you just want to press it as often as possible on something valuable. Even if it's not the most valuable thing in the world, the more you press it and use it, you're going to learn what's more valuable, and you're going to be able to get higher valuable trades with it. But that's the main thing. You want to press everything on cooldown more or less and just get as much output throughout the course of the game as you can, because everything is going to start to add up over the course of the game, all the things you're doing. Another super important thing for this point in particular is going to be defensive cooldowns, okay? You never want to die and have a defensive cooldown available. If you die and you have a defensive cooldown available still, just count the loss on yourself, basically, right? Like if I die as a Death Knight and I had Anti-Magic Shell, Anti-Magic Zone, Icebound Fortitude, Blinding Sleet, any of the above, right? That loss is basically on myself. So if you die and you have defensives left, just not even any point in worrying about it. Just next time, just press the defensive, right? So that's the main thing about this part. Increase your output, your offensive cooldowns, your CC, interrupts, everything like that. Use it almost all on cooldown as much as possible to get the most output throughout the course of the game. And then defensives, just make sure you never die with defensives available, okay? That's the first part. If you do all those things, increase your output and decrease your dying with defensives, you will 100% start climbing rating instantaneously. So that is step 1, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, so the second tip here is going to be consistency, okay? You need to consistently play the game. You need to play enough reps that you basically fight every single comp, okay? You want to fight every comp, every variation, you playing with every DPS and you versus every DPS, so that you know what to do in every single situation, okay? And you're going to learn this through trial and error. So like I said, it's just going to take consistency. You're going to spam Q and you're just going to consistently try and learn every strategy you can. If you lose, you're going to try the next strategy, right? Hit a different person, and you're just going to keep going through different strategies via trial and error until you know what to do in every single situation, right? Like me, I've played thousands and thousands of solo shuffle rounds, so at this point I know what to do in every situation. But every meta, that can change slightly, right? So whenever there's changes or there's a new meta or something like that, you need to relearn the strats. So that's one of the main things, is consistency and not giving up until you know the strategies and everything like that. So you got to be as consistent as possible. Same with when you're trying to push your first gladiator in 3s, right? You want to play one comp and you kind of want to figure out what to do versus every single comp, right? So you're gonna have to do that via trial and error. Like I'll give you an example. Say I'm playing Ret DK and I'm fighting Demo Warlock Devastation Evoker, okay? And the first time we go the Devastation Evoker and it goes horribly, right? Then obviously, naturally, the next time we're going to go for the other guy, right? And then if that works, then boom, you locked it in, you figured out the strategy that works, and there you go. One key thing also for this, though, is that you need to make sure you type to your team the strat that you want to do, because a lot of losses I see are just based off people hitting different targets, right? Like that could have easily been avoided had they just attacked the same target and played the same game, right? Because you're on a team. If you're not playing like a team, there's a good chance you're going to lose. So yeah, that's the second tip there, is to learn every strategy, be consistent, okay? One thing to go along with the consistency, though, is if you're going to try and get that many games, we know that the queue time is really long, right? So one thing you can do to make it so you never miss a game, whether you have to AFK, whatever you have to do, or if you're playing 2 accounts and you're trying to queue 2 solo shuffles at once, like obviously not at the exact same time, but like one queue into the next. One thing you can do is you can go into the dungeon tab, like how you would just queue a normal dungeon, and there's a thing called a follower dungeon, okay? So what you can do is you can queue up the solo shuffle, and then you can put yourself queue for a follower dungeon, and then so what will happen is the follower dungeon will pop, but then your solo shuffle queue will keep going, right? So say you could queue up a follower dungeon, put yourself in a solo queue, put yourself in a follower dungeon, and then just go watch a TV show with your family or play another game for half an hour, whatever you want to do. And then you can come out of the queue, come out of the follower dungeon, and then boom, your solo shuffle queue should almost pop instantly, right? Because you have that 30 minutes of wait time. So that's what you can do. You can use that to pause your queue if you ever have to go to the washroom, if you have to have dinner, or whatever you have to do, right? You can use that to pause your queue, or you can use it if you're playing 2 accounts at once so that you can, get in a game, pause the other account, and then just keep going between the two, right? So that's going to help with the consistency so that you don't miss the queues, because obviously the queues are very long and it really sucks to miss a queue. So yeah, let's get into the third tip. All right, guys, so the third and final tip here. Also, if you like this kind of video, let me know, because I have so many of these tips. Like, I could go in depth and ramble about tips and stuff to increase your solo shuffle for literally hours. So if you like these, drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments. But yes, so the third tip we're going to get into right here, this one is super important, okay? Very, very important. So the third tip is going to be do not tilt, okay? So I'm going to teach you a couple ways to do this. One way is accountability, right? Remember in the other one I told you, if you die with and you have any defensive left, no matter what, the game's on you, okay? The game's on you. So you need to just take accountability. The more you take accountability and you don't look at what your teammates are doing, the less you'll tilt. I promise you, right? Like anytime you lose a game, just look at what you specifically could have done differently. Like whether you had defensives you could have pressed, whether you could have used your offensive cooldowns earlier, you could have landed a kick that would have saved the game, right? If you can look back at your game and see what you could have done, that's going to help you from tilting. Because the thing that makes you tilt, I feel like, is when you don't look inward and you think that you couldn't have done anything differently. Because I promise you in 99.9% of situations, you could have done something differently. And, even myself, right? If I ever tilt, it's generally when I'm not looking inward and not taking accountability, right? And you want to shift the blame, stuff like that. But that's usually when you're playing bad. So look inwards. Try not to tilt. Just see how you can improve yourself, okay? Because you can't make your hunter press his turtle, right? Or you can't make your paladin press his bubble. The only thing you can do is control your buttons, right? That's the only thing you can do. So if you control your mindset and you don't tilt, it will be better. Because let me tell you one thing. Tilting in solo shuffle is not good. You can lose 75 rating per lobby, okay? You can lose or gain 75 per lobby if you 6-0. So if you tilt queue, especially as like a not Fathom class or not meta class where it's really hard to win, if you tilt queue, you can lose rating very, very fast, and you don't want to do that. So you need to keep your mental in check, okay? Occasionally things are going to happen, right? Like people are going to die without cooldowns. Sometimes a healer might lose with you 3 times and then AFK the game, right? Stuff is going to happen. It's going to be tilting sometimes, but you just need to focus on the goal, right? Focus on the goal. And the main thing too is that when you're in a game, you need to treat every single round like it's a completely different game, okay? Like let me give you an example. So say a healer's losing every round, right? And then you're going to get that healer. You don't want to just ride it off and say, "Oh, it's a healer difference, right? He's just going to lose every round." Like no, that is the deciding round right there. All you need to do is get one win with the person that's losing 6 rounds. One win out of all the rounds with them. That's it. So in those situations, you need to try to make the Hail Mary plays, right? You need to go for the risky plays. All you have to do is sway one game, whether you grip someone behind a pillar and go for a cheese kill or whatever you do. You just need to get one win. So you need to treat every single round in the lobby as if it's a fresh game. Okay, so even if someone tilted you the round before, blah, 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 you think you're not going to win, you need to just erase it from your memory. Treat it like it's a fresh game, right? Don't think of solo shuffle as 6 rounds. Just think of it as like 6 individual games, okay? Not one big game. It's just a new game. Every single round is a completely new game. Every game is winnable. It doesn't matter even if one person's losing every game. You need to just keep it together and just look for a way to win and not tilt, and that's it. Control those things, do everything I said in this video, and your rating will 100% go up a lot. 100%. Again, if you guys need more tips, let me know. I can get even more specific than this. But I just wanted to make a quick little 3-tip video for you guys of the things that I think are mainly the most important. Like when I'm doing well is when I'm doing these things. When I'm losing is when I'm not doing these things. So yeah, as someone who's got every single solo shuffle rank 1, as both specs in my class, and ended number 1, I've been number 1 on the ladder every single season since it came out, like number 1 overall. And we ended at number 1 overall last season. So this is what I do, right? This is what I put into motion. Again, like I said, I have a long list I can show you guys, but yeah, so if you guys ever want to watch me play live, I stream 5 days a week at twitch.tv/partywafflesx. Check me out there. I'm more of a streamer than a YouTuber, honestly, so you guys should definitely find your way there if you haven't already. Anyways, take it easy, boys. Peace.